Hey everybody, how you doing today? Let's talk about using type in basic scenarios such as designing a logo or making a graphic. And we're going to do that using Adobe Illustrator. So when using Illustrator, one of the benefits is how versatile it is in manipulating and illustrating and using type. So what I want to focus on are a few little tips that might help you use that type a little more effectively and be a little more creative with what you want to do. Type essentially is vector art, even though we use it in a variety of programs all across the spectrum. Under the hood, vector art is how typography actually works. In other words, points, lines, and scalable shapes are what make type graphics work. So looking at this little sample here, I have Awesome Incorporated and a couple of very generic, very quick and easy little logo designs in Illustrator that I threw together. And they represent a couple tips and tricks that we can test out using the type tools. First thing you'll notice is I used a letter as a negative shape within another shape. Pretty standard, pretty boring, but what it does is it shows how you can combine different shapes and graphics to create something else. And if you've done this on a very simple level, what you've done is you've created a black shape and then you've superimposed a white letter over the top. If I bring this over to the side, you'll see how that's really what it was. Just that white letter set over the top of a black shape so that it looks like the letter is cut out of the shape. However, what if I actually do want to cut the letter out of the shape? So this is going to be tip number one. Let me bring this back over. I'll just make a copy. By the way, you can quickly make a copy if you hold Option and drag your object, or if you're on a PC, if you hold Alt, you can quickly drag with the mouse, press Alt, let go of the mouse, and you've made a duplicate. All right, so what I've got here is I want to make that object into that letter A, into an object that cuts through the center of that black shape. So the first thing I need to do is prepare the letter shape. Right now, it's an editable piece of text. You can type on it, change the letter. If I wanted to change that letter into a B or something else, I could type right over it. But I actually need to convert this into vector art. Inside Illustrator, and you'll also find this in InDesign, you can convert text into a vector object. So under the type menu, what you're looking for is the option called Create Outlines. And what that does is it traces the shape, traces the letter and converts it into an editable shape. So I select type and I click on Create Outlines. Now that letter is no longer text, it is in fact a vector shape, and that vector shape can be altered. I can grab anchor points using my direct selection arrow, and I can move and scale and adjust however I like. Also in the new Illustrator, or the newer Illustrator, you have these control points. You can round edges of shapes if you wanted to. So I could, round that letter and give it, curved corners, all by using the rounding dial on the edge of that vector corner. I can, stretch, modify, remove, delete, do any number of alterations to that letter shape now that it's become vector art. I could even add a stroke, which I could do if I was on a normal letter shape, but again, I can do that inside the vector shape. If I have the stroke palette open, you'll see that I also have some additional options, such as I can move the stroke and I can align the stroke to the outside of the object as opposed to the inside or center of the object. That changes the way the stroke looks. And that might be a look I'm going for. Thing to remember is that once you have converted a letter into a vector shape, it is now permanently a shape. You can't go back and spell check or do anything else you want to do to normal text. It's done. Okay, well, let's go back to my original premise, which was I'm going to cut the A out of the black shape. Now there is a set of options inside Illustrator that some of you may be aware of called Pathfinder, where you can make different shape combinations. So you could do that, but I'm going to show you a simpler way for this particular situation, which is called the Shape Builder. So if you look on the toolbar, the Shape Builder has a couple circles and a selection arrow. You use that Shape Builder tool, and by default, what the Shape Builder does is it combines things together. I actually want to remove the white letter from the background shape. So to do that, I have to press the Option key or the Alt key. You may notice on the cursor, I go from having a plus symbol to a minus when I hold the Option key. Then all you do is you press your mouse and you click and drag into the piece of the shape you want to remove. And pretty easily, you now remove those white pieces, and now I have a solid, leftover, transparent, no background, solid shape, which I could then alter in other ways to adjust if I wanted. Like, let's say I wanted to dial up and do those rounded corners. Wow, that's actually not looking too shabby. Maybe even more. Ooh, I kind of like that. Happy accident. So, when working on logos, by the way, I like to do this. I like to take segments or pieces of drawings I've made and make duplicates and then make new alterations. That way I can quickly generate alternatives to choose from and select from, just by making a copy and doing a slight alteration and making a duplicate. There's something about these rounded edges that I just discovered doing this that I kind of like. So now I have three options actually. I have the first, then the third, and so on. Great. Now let's talk about altering the text itself. As you've noticed, I have this awesome incorporated. Well, maybe I want to alter that a little bit on this one. So if I zoom in and adjust this block of text by itself, these letters still are text. So I can highlight them. I want to open up the character palette and the paragraph palette to look at this. So I'm going to go to the type menu. I'm going to open character. I'm going to go ahead and detach this so it's more visible. And in this situation, yours may not look like this, so be sure and double click the character tab to expand so you see the entire set of options in that character palette. Some of these options you might find on the top control bar, might be hidden in the properties bar, depends on which version of Illustrator you're using. But what I'm looking for are some of the adjustments, like in this scenario, the kerning adjustment, which in this case, tracking, kerning, letter spacing, I've stretched it out by 200. So awesome is stretched out. Well, if I change the typeface to something else, I just happened to pick a sans serif typeface that was in my list. Let's say I picked something else. Maybe to be a little more dramatic, I pick, copper plate or impact. Let's say I do that. Well, now my letter spacing is off. So I can click on that adjustment and I can look for and pick a letter spacing that is a little more appropriate to the size and scale of the typeface that I've selected. Same is true of the word incorporated. Now this is one little tip just in terms of visual design. It would not be a good idea, I think, to have awesome incorporated be exactly the same. Same size, scale, and style. Let's just show what that would look like if they were both the same. What does that do? That kind of overemphasizes the word incorporated. So I think it was better that the incorporated be a smaller, lighter, more aerated typeface. That's why I had the light expanded version. So you kind of read the word awesome first and then incorporated. And those are some typography choices that you're going to make when designing this way. Okay, let's look at another thing we can look at. Let's try another alternative. We already did the positive and negative space. Maybe what we want to do this time is try some color options. So where do you find good color for your type design? The little tip and trick I have for you is to use the color guide inside Illustrator. You could also use the library feature, which I'll show in a second. But let's say that I have this logo and I happen to go to my swatches and I'm just going to pick this purplish color. That's going to be my starting point. Well, if I'm designing a logo, I typically want to have 2 or 3 colors that I'm working with. And I think that's true for most designs in general, is you want to keep a harmonized color scheme in 2 or 3 sets of colors. So if I have a master color like that main swatch I just selected, I want to find colors that go with it. That's what the color guide does really well inside Illustrator. So I'm going to go to the window menu and I'm going to select color guide. I'm going to bring that over, zoom in a little more so kind of see closely what it's doing. So inside color guide, if I expand the little down tab, it's going to show me typical artistic color harmonies, such as complementary color scheme, expanded complement, triad, high contrast, analogous, monochromatic, all the typical color harmonies that you might expect to find in design and graphics. For me, let's say I want to stick with a complementary color scheme or shades. Actually, in this case, I'm going to go with shades. I kind of like that set. If I want to use that set, I can click the little plus button here in the corner, and that's going to save that color set in my swatch palette. So what do I do with that? Well, maybe the main word of the logo, maybe that becomes the dark color of that set, and the incorporated becomes maybe one of the lighter colors. And so there you have kind of a 3-part combination. You have that main, I don't know what we're going to call this, mauve, burgundy, purple, main color swatch, then a coordinated color and a lighter color that goes with it. I think that's the main goal. Now, let's say I take that and I make a copy. What if I want to use a similar color harmony, but an entirely different family of colors? Well, another tip I have for you is to try out the Edit Colors feature in Illustrator. So go to Edit, go to Edit Colors, and select Recolor Artwork. This is one of my favorite hidden tools in Illustrator. Not everybody uses this, but it's there. Sorry, I just closed it. I'll reopen it. Now, it's a very powerful tool. We're not going to go over everything here, but you can reassign colors and do all kinds of interesting things. But what I'm going to do is select the Edit button on the Recolor dialog box, and I'm going to use this color wheel. Now, those little circle dials represent the 3 colors that are actually used in the selected artwork. I'm going to lock that group so that that group stays joined as I select new color options. And you do that by selecting the little chain harmony here. Now, if I just grab one of the colors, all 3 will move with it. And I could then select and dial this color wheel all the way around and test out and try new color harmonies right there on the fly visually in comparison to the original. And I like that a lot because it locked that harmony, so I'm getting 3 value colors in the same color family, but using that wheel, I'm able to test out really quickly other colors and see if there's something I want to use. And that's kind of a visual way to go through and cycle through colors. And this is a great way. Let's say you have an entire poster design and it's full of all these graphics, and you just want to adjust the color slightly. Select everything Open up this Recolor Artwork dialog box, use the edit feature, and you can quickly cycle through and test out lots of different colors. So that's one way to go with that color dialog box. Here's one more option. Go to the window menu and this time select libraries. Now this is a newer feature that comes out of Creative Cloud, and I certainly don't want to be a salesman for Adobe, but using Creative Cloud is really handy for things like this. There are shared graphics, there's stock photos, there's fonts and other things you can access through your Adobe Creative Cloud library. But another one, which is really handy, are color swatches. And if you click on the library palette and you select apologize. Color themes is what I wanted. Color library is my saved library of swatches, but what I'm looking is to discover some new ones first. Sorry, I picked the wrong one. Adobe Color Themes is what I was looking for. Color themes are shared color swatches that other folks put up on Adobe and share with you. So if you're in color themes, and this is accessible in Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign, click on Explore in the Adobe Color Themes. This is going to link you to everybody else's color palette that's out there. And you can search and cycle through some potential ones. Let's say I click one here and I like it. So I'm going to select the 3 dots and I'm going to add it to my swatches. So now that I have that color theme, I could, if I go back to that library palette I was looking for, I could upload one of the swatch families that I like. We'll just kind of forget that. But here I have coordinated color from something I selected from somebody else. And I can select my objects and manually assign those swatches from their library and try something new based on downloaded color schemes. All right, so there's a few tips for working with a graphic, working with text, working with a shape, and working with color to make a more beautiful or interesting design with some simple tips and tricks. All right, so hope that helps. Check back later for more tips and tricks in my demo videos. See you later.